Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all and good afternoon. Secretary Blinken, Ms. Evan Ryan, it is yet again an honor for Doug and I to co-host this important luncheon with you and to welcome Prime Minister Kishida and Mrs. Kishida, and welcome again to all of our distinguished guests. I look around this room and I see extraordinary leaders of our two countries who are doing so much to lay the foundation and reinforce the work that we are doing at this level to strengthen the relationship between our two nations, and I thank you for that. Mr. Prime Minister, it is wonderful to welcome you back to Washington, D.C. As President of the United States Senate, I also had the great honor of co-chairing your presentation to the joint session of Congress, and you made quite clear that Japan will continue to be strong as a partner and a dear close friend of the United States. And Secretary Blinken mentioned that the Prime Minister made reference in his presentation to the joint session of the Flintstones. Many of us will remember the cartoon. I thought it was particularly poignant when he said, but he's not sure how to translate Yabba Dabba Doo. Mr. Prime Minister, we are so grateful for your commitment to our alliance. And I will say, as a proud daughter of California, I grew up surrounded by Japanese American culture and history, starting, of course, with learning about the Japanese emissaries who arrived in San Francisco in the 19th century, the first place that they visited in America. And over the years, celebrating that history, be it in San Francisco's Japantown, in the Peace Plaza, or in the Presidio, where in 1951, the Security Treaty was signed. And in my elected career as District Attorney of San Francisco, Attorney General of California, and a United States Senator, one of my dearest friends and advisors was Secretary Norm Mineta. And as you may know, Mr. Prime Minister, because of Norm's Japanese ancestry, he was forced into incarceration by the United States during World War II, yet ultimately became one of the greatest statesmen of America. And he fought throughout his career, understanding the importance of balancing and prioritizing both national security and what we must do in terms of civil rights. And he showed us that from great pain can come great purpose and progress. And in honor of your visit, we pay tribute to him with the establishment of the Mineta Ambassadors Program to increase student exchanges. Mr. Prime Minister, I'm incredibly proud of the purpose we share and the progress our two nations have made. And as Vice President, it has been one of my great honors to help further strengthen those ties. You and I, as Secretary Blinken mentioned, first met in September of 2022 when I traveled to Tokyo to represent the United States at the funeral of Prime Minister Abe. Prime Minister Abe was the author, of course, of the principle of a free and open Indo-Pacific, and he invested in the U.S.-Japan alliance and set Japan on a course of global leadership. Mr. Prime Minister, under your leadership, Japan's global role has grown immensely and even further, and the United States and the Japan alliance is now stronger than ever. During my trip to Japan, I flew south across the Tokyo Bay to a joint naval base where Japanese and American sailors train and serve side by side. From the flight deck of the USS Howard, I had the honor of addressing hundreds of American sailors in dress whites, from which I explained the United States is a proud Indo-Pacific power, that the U.S.-Japan alliance is the cornerstone of peace and stability in the region, and America's commitment to Japan's defense is ironclad. And today, I will add, the bonds between our nations and people are also ironclad. Under your leadership, Japan has been an extraordinary partner to the United States. In addition to Tokyo, you and I have met in Bangkok, in Jakarta, and here in Washington at the Vice President's residence. Each visit building upon our contributions to global security and global prosperity, from maintaining peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait to trilateral cooperation with South Korea, to the defense of rules and norms in the South China Sea, a dialogue which we will continue later today with President Biden and President Marcos. We have worked together to advance investment, research, development for our semiconductors, resulting in strong supply chains and a strong American manufacturing industry. And building on our first conversation 18 months ago, yesterday we announced that a Japanese astronaut will be the first international astronaut to the moon as part of our collaboration under the Artemis program. Yes. Ultimately, I believe the U.S.-Japan alliance is a source of great strength for the United States, militarily, economically, and culturally, and it is a force for good in the world. So I will conclude where I began, my home state of California and Japan. In 1964, as we know, while you were living in New York, as the Secretary just referenced, my beloved San Francisco Giants called up a pitcher from the minor leagues. And in September of that year, that player debuted at Shea Stadium in a Giants game versus the Mets, just a few miles from your school in Queens. At that moment, Mashi Murakami made history as the first Japanese player to play a Major League Baseball game in America. And I'm told he quickly instilled in you a love for baseball. So I will raise a glass. To my beloved San Francisco Giants and your Hiroshima Toyo Carp, and to all the enduring bonds between our nations. Thank you. Thank you. And now I present the Prime Minister.